Knowing me, racing you. We're heading to Norfolk for Snetterton. So because you didn't like that intro.
Oh dear.
Hello everybody.
Welcome to the British Touring Car Podcast. Yes, we are back once again with a preview for Snetterton this time out. If you didn't get it by the intro, that was an Alan Partridge impression, who is of course from Norfolk.
Norwich to be exact, and we are going to be close to Norwich this weekend. It is our local circuit, I think it's fair to say. It's not my favourite circuit, I think it's fair to say.
No, you've put that forward in there have been some boring races recently at Snetterton, which I tend to agree with. However, I don't know whether it's just because it's our local circuit that it is one of my favourites.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And it's one that I've spent so much time at throughout my younger years and having so much access to. I really do enjoy it.
It's also incredibly convenient for us because it's not too far away. We have got free accommodation not too far away. And it just makes the whole weekend a lot easier for us. We're not having to travel down the M25 or anything, which is always helpful.
Yes.
So it's a Snetterton 300 layout, which means it's the 3 mile run, which I think makes it the longest circuit on the calendar.
Yep, definitely.
12 corners, debuted in 1959, let's say 2.7 or 97 miles. Would you like to guess the fastest qualifying lap round here?
Do I be honest or do I just guess?
Well, honestly, it was just when we looked it up.
I had a little look yesterday and I know Ash Sutton took fastest lap, I think last year, wasn't it?
Correct.
And also has the fastest racing lap, which was from last year as well.
You're right. What is interesting about that is that the qualifying lap was a 1 minute 54.5.
Yep.
The race lap was 1 minute 54.8. So only 3 tenths between the quali lap and the fast lap. And from last year, he dominated this place, and he absolutely
did.
Even on the wrong tyre, he finished in the next postcode, didn't he? He was unbelievable last time out. He took, he took a first, and a fourth.
It's a pretty good weekend, really, isn't it?
Particularly when you factor in there were, and as there will be this weekend, different tyre compounds. 3 that have to be run this weekend. So you've got the soft, the medium, and for those who are ahead of me, the hard. And all 3 of those have got to be run throughout the weekend.
Yeah, the hard tyre is going to be mandatory in race 2 for the top 10 runners where they finish in race 1. So hopefully it's going to mix the field up along with the hybrid, which seems to be working. We're going to probably convince you this weekend, I think, aren't we?
This is the acid test for me because the first 2 tracks we've had are long and technical in Donington, but with lots of fast-flowing corners.
Yep.
And then Brands Hatch, which is
short blast.
I don't say it's a glorified NASCAR circuit, but it's a bowl. As you say, it's a short blast. It's a sub-minute lap. This is where it's going to really earn its pay because that Bentley Straight is a long straight.
It's the complete other end of the spectrum to what you get at Brands Hatch Indy.
There's lots of slow. Slow is relative speaking, but there's lots of slow corners at Snetterton, and you've then got the really long Bentley Straight as well, which would be a prime place for the hybrid to work going into the S's, and we could see a fair bit of action in and around those areas.
Yeah, and I think also coming off that final corner up the start-finish straight is a nice, slow, tight corner to get you racing down to turn 1. I think there's going to be quite a few people dragging up that hill using that hybrid to their advantage when they've got more laps left than the other driver that they're battling.
I was going to say, there's only really 3-4 places you might use the hybrids here, and that's the pit straight, heading up to the hairpin, heading back down the hairpin, and then the Bentley Straight. Other than that, the other corners are quite tight and technical. And of course, we've had the privileged benefit of having driven the circuit a couple of years ago. It is a very, very tight circuit. It might not look as tight as somewhere like Alton Park, but it is tight and it is twisty.
Yeah, it had obviously quite a huge development to have that infield section, which now, I must say, has brilliant viewing. And if you are going this weekend, being up on the big bank on the inside of turn 1 or the bank on the infield are probably going to be your prime locations to see as much of the racing as you can see.
Thanks for that. Means we have nowhere to stand now. You've given away.
Sorry.
Well done. We're going to have to stay at home.
I'm sure everyone does know.
Yeah, and of course the back straight is also really nicely mounded, which you can put a tent on, which we did a couple of years ago in the steaming heat.
Yeah, that was hot.
Yes.
Are we going to see that weather this weekend?
No, the weather front is supposed to be cloudy but dry.
Thank God it's dry.
20 degrees, so
pleasant.
What I would say is that Snetterton is... You will get windburn even if there's no
wind trap. Yeah.
You will get windburn. Pack your sun cream, wear hats, all that kind of stuff. While the sun probably won't be prevalent in the sky, Snetterton is just... It doesn't matter. We've come back in the driving rain from there with windburn before, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's just a circuit where you're going to come back red faced, and as you've got the bank holiday Monday to sit
recover,
in the car, recover, just make sure you're properly set up for the day, because it will be windy and it will leave you looking very red faced. Which, when you then go to Wendy's on the way home and your friend can't stop laughing into their burger at your face, is always quite difficult.
Oh, we've done that a couple of times, haven't we?
The big news coming into the weekend is that we've got a new driver on the grid.
Well, a returning driver.
We've got a new car on the grid.
Yes,
a new driver insofar as he hasn't been here for the rest of the season.
No.
So, obviously, there's been a lot of talk in the off-season about WSR running 4 cars, and lots of surprise that they didn't start the season with the 4 cars. However, they've finally managed to get that commitment filled, and it's shocking nobody really, but pleasing many, is Bobby Thompson.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see him back, and I don't think this weekend he's going to set the world alight. I think he's going to...
it's good to have that phrase back. We've had that for a while.
I think he's going to settle in this weekend. Obviously, he had a little bit of testing before the start of the season in the car, but it might have been a little while since he's been in the car. He's going to have to get used to how the team works, how they're going to set up for qualifying. I think it's going to be very difficult for him slipping into the new Super 6 format. And I just don't see him... I see him doing okay this weekend.
Yeah, let's not forget, during the testing, he didn't have the hybrid, so that's going to be something to get used to, particularly in racing conditions this weekend. I know it sounds quite a joke when I give anybody a pass on the hybrid, but yeah, that is going to be something he's going to have to get used to. Obviously, he rode the hybrid, or used the hybrid rather, last season, but it has changed quite significantly, it would appear, this season. But yeah, he is back. He's in that third BMW. I'm interested to see what the livery will be, because obviously he is back with, I think Zeus is his main sponsor. Will we be seeing a WSR style, or will we be seeing more of a Jake Hill style? I think the former.
Yeah, so do I. I don't think the sponsorship brand as a whole is going to be big enough to fill the car like we've got with Laser Tools.
Yeah.
And being as he's more part of the WSR setup, I think we're going to see those standard colours with his own sponsors on the car.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I'm very much looking forward to having him back on the circuit. Yeah. How do you think he'll do as the season progresses? Obviously, it's too late for him to be a title contender now, let's be frank. The way the field has gone. I think, what's his marker going to be? If you pick another driver on the grid where he's going to sort of compete against,
I think he will be very happy this season if he comes in and finishes 10th, 11th, 12th in the championship. I think that'll be a really good season for him, considering he's missed 2 rounds. Mm-hmm. And this is us presuming that he is going to be there for the further 8 rounds and all of them. So if he can settle in nicely this weekend and then start to build his pace in the car, we know there's pace in the car from what we've seen at Brands last time out.
Yeah.
Morgan was quick there, Turkerton was quick there, Jake Hill, he had a difficult weekend, but I'm sure he's probably going to bounce back. If he can find the right setup in the car, then he can... World's his oyster, really. He can be as fast as Turkington or as fast as Morgan on his day.
Without being negative, downcast, typical Russell.
Here we go.
I just hope it's not a flash in the pan and we're going to see him building this next season with a full season at a top team, because otherwise, just a bit... pointless is the wrong word, but he just needs that break of a season in a proper car.
It's the prime opportunity for him, isn't it? In the fact that he can show everything that he needs to show this season. He's in a car that is possibly vying for the title this season.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that should be almost passed down to him and him be the last driver to get it. I think he will get stuff on par with those other 2. So yeah, this is the season where he goes, right, I've got to show what I'm worth, bring in those sponsors for next year when, you never know, maybe a tilt at the title.
Absolutely. Well, talking of the title, Sutton leads coming into this round from Turkington, from Ingram, from Hill. You're looking strange.
No, go on.
Is it that order?
Yes, it is that order.
Obviously, last year, Sutton had an absolutely fantastic time here. So, race 1 last year was Sutton from Hill from Turkington. Race 2 was Sutton from Hill from Turkington. Race 3 was Sutton from Hill. No, it was Ingram from Butcher from Rowbottom.
But Camish did get disqualified, didn't he?
Yes, in race 3 for trying to go to Mars in his car.
Absolutely mounting the curbs. Yeah. So, one to stay away from this weekend.
And in terms of the championship contenders, last year Sutton, as I said, was a 1-1-4. Hill was a 2-2-10. Ingram was a 4-7-1, which sounds like an interesting football formation. And then Turkington was 3-3-7. Can't be my own writing there. So, yeah.
Yeah, they all seem to go relatively well here, don't they?
They do, yeah.
So it's difficult to look past those four to occupy probably the top 6 positions throughout race results this weekend. But as you say, I think hybrid's going to play a massive part. I think it's going to play an even bigger part probably in qualifying, because we need to recognise that being almost a 2-minute lap, you're maybe going to get 2 or 3 fast laps, especially if you're in a front-wheel drive car where you're going to have to come in, swap tyres over front to back, and keep that warmth.
I don't think they'll bother.
You don't?
No.
See, I think they're going to have to.
I don't think they'll bother based on the fact that they can have, in that time it would take, they can have an aggressive warm-up lap. And then, as you say, the problem is if they cross the tyres, they're going to get 2, as you say, 3 max. Laps in,
and that's without other drivers getting in the way, without red flags, without yellow flags, without track limits. There are so many different possibilities of what can happen at Snetterton because of the layout of the circuit.
I also think you might see that they might cross tyres to get out of the first session and then onwards not bother and just go, right, we're quite happy to be in this bit. We'll take our chances in the race from where we qualify. I think you'll see a couple of teams take that risk rather than have the pit stop, which costs the time. Particularly if you've got a driver who they might not trust so much to put in that 1 lap or that 2 lap.
Do you see any major casualties from those first 2 knockout sessions this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my predictions is that without giving too much away, I think we will see the top 4 in the championship struggle to get into the top 6 this weekend.
Okay.
Particularly when you factor in that you say the BMW is fast, you say the Hyundai is fast, and you say the NAP4 is fast. Well, Camish, Morgan, Pearson on this season's performed so far.
Rowbottom.
So
there are plenty of drivers.
So there's 4 drivers that can knock you straight out. And then you take into consideration the Toyota goes well round here.
Yes, it does.
So and Cook is quick. Moffat's having a bit of a good resurgent season, providing he doesn't have a massive falling out with his team on the way. Huff is yet to really hit the ground running, but I imagine it's a sort of circuit where he could do quite well.
Yeah.
And Watson is fast. He's not necessarily settled in quite so, but that's now 8 drivers.
Yeah.
And that's without mentioning the 4. Do you know what I mean? So I think that, and with the hybrid and all that kind of stuff as well, I think we might struggle to see the top 4
Do you think throughout the rest of the season we could see FP2 become more critical into which group you then get put into when the groups get split going into that first session?
I don't really know how you can orchestrate it. Because
if you're sitting, I suppose it's going to be difficult. But if you're sitting in an odd position, you've got to go and bang in the fastest lap to get into an even, or vice versa.
The only thing you might see is that teams of 4 might start trying to make sure they get 2 and 2 into each session for toes and stuff like that. You might be able to just about orchestrate that by saying, right. Yeah. But even then, it's tough. When you see how short the field is, this isn't an 8-second grid like some other sports we've got at the minute.
I don't know what you could be mentioning.
What do I? This isn't an 8-second spread. This is at times, less than a second spread. Yeah. So it's going to be so hard to orchestrate that. I know what you're saying, and I can see that there's tactical benefits to it. But I think what you will see more of is what we saw last time out of Brands is people in the first race try not to finish in the top 10 if they've got a quick car. Yeah. No, they don't then have to, particularly here where you've got the hard tyre, which historically has been a little bit poor to race with, should we say. Yeah. I can see a couple of drivers who might fancy their chances later on in the day, not wanting to take that obligatory hard tyre early on.
Okay then.
But we shall see.
Any other thoughts before we make some predictions for the weekend then?
I don't think so. Well, apart from to say, of course, that we are going.
Yes, we are.
Second of all, it is your 30th birthday.
How rude!
It is your birthday.
It is
weekend. You're not. Your birthday isn't on the weekend, but it's the closest.
Once this is released, it will be my birthday.
Well, so, I don't want to give out your date of birth on the air, but that's
fine. It doesn't bother me.
You've done that. Okay, fine. We'll read out your CVV and number in a minute as well, but that's cool.
It's all right, there's no money in there.
So if you do see us, we will have stickers again. And if you want to come and say happy birthday to Sam, then please sing. He loves people singing happy birthday to him. It's his favourite thing about birthdays. So
yeah, we will have some of our merchandise on us. We're working towards possibly getting some for you lot, those that are willing to pay anyway.
Yes, but
yeah, keep an eye out for us while we're there, and I've probably got a big camera with me because I like to get plenty of photos from the weekend and any videos. And you'll probably see us walking up and down in the paddock.
And there will be a birthday-style TikTok meme reel coming out onto both TikTok, and I'll probably put it on the Facebook social as well. So when you hear this, if you've not already seen it...
Just remember, I was kind to you for the one I released.
You'll like it.
Okay, good.
You'll like it. It's not football-related. You'll like it, I'm sure. Anyway, enough chatter about your birthday. It's not happening yet.
Nope.
Let's do some predictions, which means I need to get my phone out, and then you need to finish us off with the race times as well. We'll do that to close off. So, your pole man.
My pole man, and it goes against what you just mentioned, and you don't think we'll see the top four challenging.
I don't think we'll see all of them. I think you could see one or maybe two, but I don't think you'll see all four.
So I have gone for Jake Hill.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a bounce back weekend from what he had at Brands Indy. I think he's going to get control of the car. Obviously, he went really well here last time out.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to find that setup, and he's got the most hybrid of those top four.
Okay, I'll go for someone that goes well here and is in a really quick car. It's Dan Camish. I can't see beyond him. I really can't.
Fair enough.
That car is lightning quick here, and Camish, if he wants to be in this title hunt, and I already think he's possibly not, but he needs a strong weekend this weekend.
Have you gone for a win for him as well then?
I have.
Okay.
Have you gone for win for Hill?
I have, yes. Win for Hill as well. And also for Ingram.
Okay.
Which I think is a little more bold, because I think he's that driver who goes pointsy.
He does like it here, though. He does do pretty well here. Yeah. I remember his reverse from the back of the grid to near the front in the pouring rain in the events. I can't remember what year it was, but anyway.
He was quick here in the Toyota as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've also got for Hill as a race winner. I do think he will be possibly the best performing BMW this weekend, purely based on hybrid allocation. And, and if Turkington does qualify out position, has he got the racecraft?
Will he be able to work through the field?
Will he be able to work his way through the field? We're seeing a different Colin this year, I have to say, and maybe he has got that mojo back a little bit, but I think this is the sort of weekend that you're going to really see what Colin we've got in terms of where he might finish in the championship.
Okay.
I've also gone for Watson as my final winner, reverse grid.
That's interesting, because I've gone for Cook.
Yeah, I can see.
So Toyota goes well here. He's kind of picked one out of the four. I think any of those four, as we've already seen with Moffat taking a win this season, could well get lucky and get where they need to be.
I wouldn't rule out a Pearson. They take another reverse grid.
No.
If he's there or thereabouts, because he looks like he's really got himself settled in the car.
Is he your Jack Sears driver this weekend?
He is indeed. Yeah, I've got him. I think Osborne will run in close. We're not really spoken about PMR so far. I don't know what PMR turns up from week to week at the minute, but I think they'll struggle here, which means they're going to win every race. But
I was going to say, I have a feeling they did pretty decently last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think them and the
Coopers
could struggle this weekend a little bit.
Okay.
And House had chucked into that as well.
Yeah.
In terms of who might struggle this weekend. Okay, so in terms of who you've gone for general predictions.
So my general predictions, the first one is for Jake Hill to outscore Turkington this weekend, which that hybrid allocation in race one could well be pivotal to it, and whether he's found the right setup, because Turkington looked super quick last time out at Brands. But I'm banking on it.
See, I think you're partly potentially right that he could bounce back, or he could go too far the other way, push too hard, and end up in the gravel, which
track limits and be at the back of the grid and
lose his temper a little bit. And
let's not channel that thought. No, it's channel the positivity from my side.
And let's not forget that last year BMW completely cocked up their tyre strategy, and all four of them then took each other out at various points of the race weekend, which was great fun.
You never know; they might have a new strategist.
That would make some sense. My first prediction is that I think Bobby Thompson will get a top 6 finish this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bold, but I think maybe race 3.
Yeah.
I think that race 1 and 2, get used to the car, don't do anything silly, and then race 3 with the reverse grid.
Keep himself in the mix.
Okay. I think he could get a top 6. And then, I agree with what you're saying. It's going to be hard to come and hit the ground running.
Yes.
It always is halfway through a season or partway through a season, but he's a very talented driver.
He is,
and that is in the balance that sort of helps him a little bit.
Yeah, it wouldn't overly surprise me if he did something like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm banking. But you're right as well. It could go the other way, and this be just a sort of exploratory.
My second one, hopefully, I know obviously this driver went well last time out as well. I've got Pearson to outscore Chilton this weekend.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah.
Chilton had a really good time at Brands last time out, and I don't know whether it's the case of Barry Plowman having that influence that he needs to have, or that we saw last season when he came into a team, he was able to go, right, that team had a really good weekend when he was there.
Yeah.
And Chilton seemed to be building something last weekend, and you said he was a bit, I don't know, lackluster maybe in race 3 and not taking it to Pearson for that win. But I don't know how much of that was down to the team.
I would say lackluster. I was surprised he wasn't closer than he was, I think is how I'd describe it. But yeah. I'll go for Camish will be the top scoring napper this weekend.
Ooh. Oh, that's bold. That's very bold. I think I'm banking on that hybrid and the tyres seem to be really making a difference in I wouldn't even say levelling the field. I would say in negatively impacting it. Yeah. I just think that Sutton could struggle. If any track is going to cause Sutton to struggle, the track that he did really well at last season is going to be that track, is it?
But you change the fact that the hybrid now actually makes a difference, and you change the fact that the tyre compounds will make a difference alongside the hybrid stuff, and you add in that Camish goes well here.
But we also know that Tony Carosa, his engineer, is going to be nice and bold on that strategy and go for the opportunities where they arise in getting the best outcome for him.
Yeah, there is all that. But I just think that, I'm sticking with it. Camish, I think, will be the top scoring napper.
Fair enough. I have gone for, and this... Now you've reminded me how well Napa went here last season. I'm slightly regretting this.
I reminded you did my research. There's two ways of looking at it, but yeah.
I'm going for all 4 BMWs to outscore all 4 Napas.
And you thought my Camish one was bold?
Yes.
Hang on, you just said the Hill's going to have qualifying, win everything, bounce back. Wow, that really is bold.
So all 4 BMWs outscoring all 4 Napas.
So is that
total across the weekend?
Not individual.
No.
Right. Okay.
Total across the weekend.
Wow. All
4 cars added together versus each other,
including fast laps and laps led points. Yeah, and point for pole.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why having had a debate with you about a recent football prediction league that we had. I was making sure we get all of the variables out now, so you don't stay up until 3 a.m. trying to find a loophole to how you might have won.
I wasn't. I just thought about it next morning.
Yes.
Your last one.
My last one is that 2 of the top 4 will miss out on the Fast 6. So lots of numbers in there. Yeah. 2 of the top 4 will miss out. At least 2 of the top 4 will miss out on the Fast 6.
So one of Sutton, Ingram,
Till
or Turkington.
2 of those. 2 of those. At least, yes.
Okay. Yeah. And this weekend, because we are going, and it's my birthday.
You done all 3 of yours?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hill, Pearson, BMWs.
Oh, Pearson, yeah. I forgot the Pearson one. Carry on.
And because it's my birthday weekend, we are going for the price of a pint, but not just any pint. One of my favourite pints is a pint of Guinness. So...
Yeah. Before we started Guinness, he couldn't grow a beard, but now he had one sip of it, and look at that hair. You see his chest as well. Yeah.
It keeps me warm. I'm hoping it reduces the wind burn.
I'm thinking people might be asking for a selfie thinking you're Caleb, but... Yeah, pint of Guinness specifically.
What's your price?
£8.50.
Holy... What?
I paid over £7 for a pint at Donington on my birthday.
Did you? That's interesting.
That wasn't a pint of Guinness, that was a pint of low-end San Miguel.
Oh, that might change my price then.
Hello, if people from San Miguel are listening, I will drink it if needs be.
That's going to change my prediction.
We guess £8.49?
No.
£8.51?
I'm going to go for $7.50 then.
Okay.
Because I wasn't privy to the information of how much your pint
you didn't buy me one?
No, at Donington. But okay.
You didn't buy me a birthday.
Okay for that. You never know, you might get one this weekend.
What, in lieu?
Yes.
Lovely. Right, all it needs to be done now then is a reminder of the race times, which I'm hoping you've got before you, because that's your...
So, qualifying on Saturday, first of all, again, live on YouTube. We will be watching the majority of it, all being well.
We're watching all of it, just some of it might be in the car.
Yes, true. That is at 3:30. First race is at 11:30.
On the Sunday.
On Sunday, yes. Second race is at 2:25, and the final race is at 5:10. I haven't seen the full allocation of the calendar, but I believe the touring car race is going to be the last one. But Snetterton is normally, touch wood somewhere, is all right to get out of. So
that's when you know some of the secret exits.
It is, yes. A couple of the series that are joining us this weekend, we have got the Sprint Challenge, the Cayman Sprint Challenge.
Yeah.
Which I know you're not a particular fan of. We've also got the Minis, of course, and the F4s and big Porsches.
It's just difficult to go from 2 back-to-back Legends races to another Porsche. Which
the Legends are top tier of support race at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, particularly when you think that we've seen Radicals go around Snetterton in the past. Was it TCR that had Radicals? Was it last year they had the Radicals? I can't remember. We've seen Radicals around there.
Yeah.
We've seen Caterhams around Snetterton.
Yeah. And there are so many good support series out there that bringing them to Snetterton would be a really good, fun event.
And then with the Caymans.
Something like the Minis would be brilliant because they'd just be bump drafting down each straight.
Yeah, but they would take like 7 minutes to complete a lap. But, and I get why the Legends aren't here. It's far too long a lap for the Legends. You need a bit of a GT style, But I can't help but feel underwhelmed, shall we say.
Let us know your thoughts and feelings on who you think is going to win this weekend, who's maybe going to take pole, who's going to be the Jack Sears winner, and any other general predictions you may have.
I was going to say, finally, there is some kind of glitzy, glamorous race happening on the continent this weekend, which I wouldn't bother looking at because Snetterton is far more exciting than anything that Monte Carlo can
It is a little processional.
I can tell you, time recording is Wednesday. I can always tell you Max Verstappen has won the race. just stick to touring cars this weekend. It will be more exciting.
If that doesn't happen now, you are fully to blame.
I think people will thank me.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I don't think people will be moaning at Max Verstappen didn't win the race, apart from maybe Red Bull. I don't even think Red Bull fans would be that upset. So watch Snetterton. Don't watch Monte Carlo.
Yep, we'll be back with you for a review on Monday. Bearing in mind it is a bank holiday as well, and we'll see you then.
Bye for now. Excellent. So I have no idea if the sound sounds right. What we'll do now is obviously in terms of fade fresher than wet paint. Make sure I get both sides of the fade in at some point. Make sure I turn.
Oh, that's a bit of a risky one, but we'll go for it.
Okay. Have you looked at mine?
No.
Okay, so we'll compare. Do you want to do it on the air where we compare, or do you want to do it now?
I've lost my text box.
Just press undo.
Yeah, but I can't remember when I lost it.
Okay, we'll just do.
Why didn't come up when I pressed that last time?
You're welcome, sweetie. This is why I deserve a job in marketing and design. I've gone for a couple of risky ones. Let me guess. Cook turns up to the grid.
No, mine aren't like that. And anyway, I got shafted by that last week.
Yeah, you did, to be fair.
So, I'm not sure you can complain about that one.
Right. Can you now stand there and do a voice, just say something, anything?
All my predictions are now ready.
Wonderful. Please go and